Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Lauren Reehl, and with me tonight is Bryn Patton, 2024 Miss State College Volunteer. Thank you for joining us tonight, Bryn. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your major, your year here?
Yeah, of course. So I am currently a senior this year, and I'm majoring in corporate innovation and entrepreneurship in the business school. So I will be graduating in May, so it's bittersweet because I'm wrapping up all those sweet memories here at State College, but I'm excited for the future.
Can you tell us a little bit about when and how you really got introduced to pageantry?
Yeah, I started competing in pageants when I was about 12 years old, and from there on it just kind of snowballed into this big passion for myself. I actually started competing in my local pageant, which was the Miss Rain Day Scholarship Pageant, and from there on I just really grew a passion for it, and now here I am today as Miss State College Volunteer.
Very exciting. And have you held other titles in the past, since you did start when you were 12 years old?
Yeah, I've held quite a few. I've competed in the Miss Pennsylvania's Outstanding Teen pageant, which is under Miss America, and I was Miss Pocono's Outstanding Teen, Miss Laurel Highlands Outstanding Teen. I finished in the top 11 both of those years at the state pageant, and then I actually graduated to the Miss division where I competed as Miss Laurel Highlands and also finished in the top 11 there. I've also been Miss State College USA and competed in Miss Pennsylvania USA as well. And then, of course, most recently, I competed as Miss State College Volunteer and Miss Pennsylvania Volunteer this last October.
Very exciting. A long list of accomplishments that you have there. And can you walk us through what a typical pageant looks like for those who aren't quite familiar?
Sure. So typically, pageants have 4 main areas of competition. They usually have an interview, which can vary in time. They also have some sort of fitness portion. Sometimes they either do a modeling runway and fitness wear, or sometimes they even have a swimsuit competition. And then one of my favorites is always the talent competition. I grew up dancing, so that's one of my passions that I like to share on stage. And then they also have an evening gown portion where I get to wear a really pretty gown and model it on stage and just feel like my best self.
That's very exciting, and I'm sure you looked beautiful competing as you do now. Can you tell us a little bit about the preparation it takes behind the scenes that people don't necessarily get to see?
It's a lot of work, and let me tell you, balancing it with college and everything can be a challenge sometimes, but it's all worth it. So I do practice interview a lot because that is, I feel like, where you get a really good first impression with the judges, because that is the first meeting you have sometimes when you are competing. So just making sure that you're on top of everything, whether if it's your personal platform, just keeping updated with things that you're involved in your community, or even just what's going on in the world.
Can you tell us about your platform that you're currently representing?
Of course. So I am an advocate for my own platform, which is called Saving One Heart at a Time, and it's all about advocating and educating people on the silent symptoms of heart attacks. So in 2016, my dad actually suffered from a heart attack at the age of 56, and seeing that as a 14-year-old, my dad being what I would say is a picture of health, he actively works on our family farm, and seeing him in that situation where he's being put in the hospital was a scary situation. So, and honestly, during that time, I saw a lot of families as well going through the same things. So that really was something that sparked an interest in me to make sure that other families didn't go through the same thing. So since then, I've successfully advocated for Senate Bill 115, which makes CPR education a graduation requirement for all high school students in Pennsylvania. I worked with legislators to get that passed, so that's probably one of my biggest achievements with my platform, but I've also raised over $21,000 for the American Heart Association.
Wow, that's very incredible that you have been able to have these opportunities. Do you think you would have had them otherwise if you didn't compete in pageants? Or
Definitely not. I would say that pageantry really has opened up a lot of doors for me, not only with advocating for my platform, but it's also taught me how to be more involved in my community. I love volunteer work, and this is one way that I can bring in a positive impact into my community. And really, it just opens up my network and make connections with other people.
So do you think you learned a lot new skill sets through competing in pageants? What that look like? Because as you said, you've been interviewing and on stage. So how does that impact you, especially now that you're a senior and going into the workforce?
Of course, I definitely think that pageantry as a whole can help you develop as a successful person within the workforce. For instance, doing interviews like this helps me in interviews for a potential job. It really just boosts your network, like I said. So yeah, it does a lot for young women.
And pageants in the media can be portrayed in a lot of ways, and there's a lot of criticism and stigma that exists around it. So what would you like to say to those who do hold that criticism?
I really would just want to share what pageantry has done for me, which has only been positivity. I honestly don't think that I would be the same person that I am today if it wasn't for pageantry. It has opened up so many doors. Believe it or not, at like 4 years old, I did not want my picture taken, and now I can literally go in front of thousands of people and speak to them. So I personally think that it's been a huge turnaround for me and has really opened a lot of opportunities for myself.
All right, so what does the future hold? Now that you are Miss State College, do you have a future pageant coming up?
So right now, there's not any that are coming up that are in my foreseeable future, but I do think that there is a pageant maybe later next year that I will be competing in. So we'll just see what happens.
All right, and to follow your year of reign and what the future holds, would you like to tell everyone what your Instagram is so that they can follow along?
Yeah, so you can follow me at Miss State College Vol, and you can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook, same username.
All right, well, thank you so much for coming in tonight and telling us a little bit more about your experience with pageants. Stick around because coming up next, Jason and Alexa will have the latest news from across the nation.